Hello. It is, what day is it? Tuesday, March 12th of the year 2019. And, so last night as I was falling asleep, I remembered this project that I worked on a long time ago while I think this was during my internship. Forget. I didn't spend very much time on it, but I spent like maybe a month of like hacking on it. Okay, it looks like I started on July 1st, 2012, and did a bunch of stuff that day. Teleporting works. Oh, this must be completely wrong. Oh wait, older. Sorry, before that. I was like, I did not get teleporting working that early. Okay, so I started on like June 11th. It looks like I started by building a test framework, getting some like basic linting to work. But my original idea was to build a Pokemon game. And obviously that was way too ambitious, and I super burned out on the project and like never finished. And in all likelihood, I'll look back on the code today and be like, okay, never mind. This is too much. But before I get into that, I want to do kind of like a wrap up of things that I've done since the last stream. What did I even do last stream? Oh, last stream. Oh, my voice is kind of gone, so I don't know how long I'm going to stream today. Last stream, I worked on improving command length stuff for pre-commit. And I ended up finding some bugs after the stream, like it was slightly not correct. There were some off by one errors and typical problems, but I ended up updating the code slightly. Where is the part where I updated it? Oh yeah, I had to add these +1s. This was basically all I did while I wasn't streaming. And then I tested on a bunch of different platforms. It worked fine on Windows, it worked fine on Cygwin on Windows, and of course it originally worked fine on Linux, so I didn't really have any qualms there. And then on Monday I tried it at work, and it worked fine on macOS too, so I merged that. So that's that. Another interesting bug came up, and it was actually kind of a cross-section of 3 different bugs. And to be honest, like the first time I saw this, I was very confused. So there was this person who reported this bug that pip could not find setup tools, which seems like complete nonsense because that's like what pip is supposed to be able to do. And it basically like couldn't connect to the internet. And we couldn't really figure that one out. I did find a related bug report in pip that also had the exact stack trace of like this retry and then could not find setup tools or whatever. So I suspected that was the bug. But then they found that it worked fine when they just ran pre-commit normally, but not when they were using it from Git, which was odd. And the thing that they were confused about was like they were running on the C drive, but pre-commit kept complaining about F. Where does F come from? So we went back and forth a little bit. I gave them a bunch of commands to run to hopefully figure out the problem. And surprisingly to me, that we did actually find what was different. And so they printed out the environment and a bunch of other debugging information, and eventually found that setting home drive could work around the problem. But the main difference in the environment above is under Git, this home variable was being set to F. And so pre-commit was trying to install onto this drive, and installing onto that drive caused various things to explode. And I looked into it, and it's kind of a culmination of 3 bugs. So that pip bug that we saw above, which I don't know that anyone will ever fix, and no one knows why that's happening, and I felt like pip is kind of a gnarly project that I wasn't really going to dig into and try and fix. And then the second bug was MSys, which is kind of I forget what it stands for, but it's like a Linux system that runs, a Linux subsystem that runs on Windows. It's based on Cygwin. It's not related to Windows subsystem for Linux, but it's a way to recompile POSIX-like things into another environment. But anyway, that thing was setting home incorrectly. Well, what I assume to be incorrectly, because there's kind of like 3 ways to compute home on Windows. One of them is just to query the API, which is probably the correct way to do it. But both MSys and Python do it in a different way. What MSys did is, let's see if we can find it, home drive. Yeah, so what MSys did is took home drive and home path and jammed those together and generated the home directory from that, which is actually one of the ways that Python can do it as well. But this is kind of the last ditch effort that Python will try. The way that seems more accurate is to use this user profile variable, which, from what I could tell, this is the only documented, or the first class documented variable for this. Like Wikipedia says, check this and then check these two. But MSys did not, so they fell through to this and then set home, H-O-M-E, to that, and then Python was reading home on Windows, which makes no sense. Like, home is a POSIX variable, it means nothing on Windows. And so the easiest fix for me, oh, that's not what I wanted. The easiest fix for me was to just change Python. And so I made a pull request. If I can find that. Author me. And it actually got merged, which I was super surprised about. This is honestly the fastest time from creation to merge that I've ever seen in the CPython project, so I was pretty hyped about that. But I basically changed the logic on Windows. Where's the actual code? Yeah, I changed the logic on Windows to not look at the home environment variable at all, and that'll fix the pre-commit bug, which I thought was pretty cool. But that kind of wraps up the review stuff of what I've done offline. So my goal today, I've cloned the project, I've looked at the file, looked what's in it, and that's about it. It appears to be a C# web service from what I can see. But I haven't looked at this code in a really long time, so I don't know what it's about. I do have some screenshots from when I was working on the project, so let's look at those, and then we'll jump into the project. So this was the very first screenshot I took of this project, and the idea, like the original idea, was to like have like a fancy UI, and this was supposed to be like a Game Boy screen, and you would play with that, and it looks like, based on the console logs here, looks like I was running Windows Vista at the time. Is that when it would have been? What year did Windows Vista come out? Windows 7 release date. Okay, so this must be Windows 7 then. That would make more sense. It's definitely not Vista. Even though they were actually the same OS. When did Windows 8 come out? 2012, yeah, so this was right before Windows 8 came out. I was probably running the alpha on a different computer, but... So this is the first screenshot when I basically had a person moving around on a black screen that was definitely supposed to be the map. Apparently I was Googling how to set up sprite sheets. I think I was probably trying to search sprite sheets with Canvas. So, that was my plan for implementing this. And then pretty quickly afterwards, this is actually just 2 days later, I had a map editor kind of built. I guess this predates Pixie.js. Yeah, probably. I don't even know what that is. Let's look at that. HTML5 creation engine. Ooh, 2D WebGL, fancy. Wow, these look pretty nice. But yes, it definitely almost certainly predates that. Let's see, Pixie.js release date. Oh, we can just look at their GitHub history. Oh, what's the easiest way to do this? Oh, I could look at their commit over time, maybe? Insights? Contributors? Is that how this works? Yeah, so it looks like this project started in early 2013. So it predated it by almost a year. But yeah, and I have no idea like whether I'll actually be able to get this thing running or not. But it made a crappy map editor. I don't know what this black box is there. Oops, didn't mean to scroll through all of them. And it looks like, if I remember right, this was the main map that I played around with for the longest time. Still Googling how to use sprite sheets, although apparently I had somewhat figured it out here. What else did I search up? Oh no! This is before I knew better. I have a W3 Schools page open. I'm so ashamed of myself. At least I have MDN, so could be worse. This is shaping up a little bit better. It looks like the way that I made this work is I had some DOM elements that represented like the character, and then the canvas for the backing map, and probably and then a container. Probably what I did is like had a window that was overflow hidden, and then like moved. I don't know if you. I see, and then like move the map behind the window, and then the character just stayed put in the middle. That's probably how I implement it. I don't actually remember. I definitely developed it in Visual Studio. I don't think I'll be using Visual Studio today. I'll probably be trying to... Well, we'll see how complicated the web service part was. If I remember right, it was pretty dumb, just like passing through JSON. But if it's more complicated than that, then maybe I'll try and figure out how to use the C# compiler on Linux. Old iTunes, old Firefox. Have Stack Overflow, well, several Stack Overflow tabs open, so that's pretty good. Oh, this is when I started working on, like, Tall Grass to hopefully, like... I mean, it was supposed to be a Pokemon game, so... I guess I was starting to try and think about, like, encounters and stuff and events here. And the thing that... Like, the last thing I remember working on was adding a text engine so that you could, like, interact with a tree and then, like, cut down the tree. Because, like, HMs were a big part of Pokemon. Although, if I remember right, I don't have my designs, or I don't know where my design sketches are, but I did do some, like, basic feature design ideas that I wanted in the game. And one of them was that I hate HMs when I play Pokemon games. Like, basically, if you haven't played Pokemon, you teach a move to your Pokemon that's entirely useless most of the time. Like, usually they're like weak 40, 60 power moves with low accuracy, and like you just use them to interact with the environment, and that's it. So they waste a move slot on your Pokemon, and it's kind of a pain. So I had planned to like eliminate HMs in some way. I can't remember whether it was like character like carries a sword or something, or like you can teach HMs but they don't take up a move slot and they aren't used in battle. I don't even remember how it works. But part of the idea was that HMs were not going to be a thing. And so I wanted to make like interacting with things that would require HMs some sort of interactive dialogue box or whatever. Looks like I had Skype open back. Oh yeah, you can see Skype here. And a ominously sounding Visual Studio project called CSV. I hope I didn't make my own CSV reader writer, but it honestly wouldn't have surprised me. Ooh, jQuery 1.7, that's pretty old. Like I had a lot of Pokedex entries open. Oh, this is the old GitHub logo. What is it now? I can't even tell. What is their new logo? Favicon. Oh, it's subtle. You can't see it because it's dark mode. Let me open it up in a browser that doesn't have dark mode. Yeah, there we go. This is what their favicon looks like now. So it's actually not that different, except now... Actually, it's exactly this... Oh wait, no, it's inverted. Exactly the same, except the opposite. But yeah, the GitHub repo here is actually Eevees, who's a programmer. Although I think it's Pokedex/Pokedex. No. This one? Is it gone? Where did it go? Oh, okay, here it is. Anyway, this is probably the repository that I had open, which has a bunch of stats for Pokemon and stuff, and like, where's the data? Oh, maybe this is why I was working with CSV. But like, it has lists and or tables of all the data you would ever need to basically build your own Pokemon game, which is what I was trying to do then. What is this one's showing? Not very well labeled. It's 2012 630 stuff. Oh, I think this is showing that like I built this map and then I was immediately able to play it. I don't know. Who knows? This was my test runner. It was kind of ugly. If I remember right, the way it worked is it made iframes for each of the integration-like tests, and then they would do their stuff, and if the test passed, the iframe would turn green. That's how I think it worked. I don't really remember. Oh, and this was my text engine that I started building. Oh, the text engine was so cool. Well, I thought it was pretty cool. The way it worked. Let's see if let me see if I can find the code for it. But the way it worked is it was basically an assembly solution. Pokemon text. I think it was basically like a very simple assembly language, if I remember correct. The solid Visual Studio style comments here. Oh, how did it work? I think the way you would... Where's the like, translation layer? I wrote a lot of code for this. I don't quite remember why I wrote so much. To do translate. I had high hopes for this project that I was gonna have to localize all the strings. I mean, it would have been easy to translate probably. Just like use a gettext library or something. How did this work? I don't think this actually has the assembly and execution bit. Although Prosec's Q seems related. Anyway, but I built my own like text engine where you would basically feed it a series, like a little program that it would run, and it was basically like a Turing complete text engine, which was silly, but it worked really well for like building branching dialogue trees. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get it running today and show that. I also have a video of this, but I don't know where the video went. But hopefully we'll get it running, and then we won't need the video. Let's see, what else did I have tabs open here? CSS speech bubbles. It was probably this. Ooh, box shadow. Yeah, there is a box shadow there. A little weird looking up here, but it works, I guess. Clear fix. Oh, that means these are probably done with floats. But oh well. And it looks like I was going to a July 4th party, which, this was taken on July 4th, so hopefully I made it. I'm pretty sure, oh, I remember that party. It's pretty good. It's like a rooftop in Berkeley, I want to say. And that's the last of that. The rest of this is just my, video thumbnails. So, I guess the first step in like seeing whether any of this works is to try it without the web server. I think the eventual goal, or the original goal, was to make it so that you could just start it and it would just work. So here goes nothing. I don't expect this to work, and then we'll figure out why. Some of it works, I guess. Like we got that character to load, so the CSS is working. Network. The sprite didn't load. That seems kind of important. Is the sprite like? Oh, did I write my own sprite builder? That's gonna derail this. Service map service. Is my sprite gone? That would suck. Sprite file name. It's sprite file path. Okay, it looks like my map editor is how I built the sprites. I don't even know where to begin. Can I get MS build for Linux? Is the first question. You can obtain .NET Core SDKs from these URLs. Oh, this is still Windows. I gotta actually open this in Linux. Linux distribution, Ubuntu. Oh boy. Well, I thought this might have been easy, but it looks like it's going to be a royal pain. So I wonder how much work it's going to be to just port this to Python. Let me see how the sprite builder works. There's only 200 lines of code for that. What is map.cs? Oh. It's just a data type. If it's only 200 lines of code, let's just port it to Python. Although it looks like I need to do some image building. Image drawer. So we'll probably need PIL. Or Pillow, I guess as it's called now. 10 minutes to write hello world. Is that what it says? That's, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I gave up already, so clearly it's more complicated than I'm willing to do. What will we use? We'll use Flask, why not? Alright, so I guess the first step is, well, you probably need to get the admin site working first. So how did that work? Map builder? Yeah. This is the wrong browser window. So I think I really need to work on this until it doesn't 404 anymore. Oh, this is ugly as sin. Tile list is null. Well, it's probably because it's not actually loading stuff. Network. I find it interesting that this uses jQuery 1.8, and I'm pretty sure the root uses jQuery 1.7.2. Or at least my screenshots used 1.7.2. I don't know, they're both 1.8. Fine. Okay, so the first thing to do is implement list tile sprites. Map/list tile sprites. We'll start by making that. From Flask, import Flask. I don't remember how to make a Flask app, so I usually go to one of my projects where I've made a Flask app before and then go from there. This is the most recent one that I've made, so hopefully I can copy and paste some code from here. Server. Okay, that's an easy way to get started. And I'm pretty sure the backend was just an API and didn't actually do any template rendering, so I don't need that. And then I do this. Oops. I'll just serve the index statically, I guess. And then at the bottom we need this junk. Oh, I wonder if I can comment this out now. Find out. Oh, copied more than I needed. From typing import optional sequence and no return. We don't have a database. We do care about the port. Need argparse. We'll handle that in a second. Actually, we'll just take that out. We're gonna hope MyPy knows what's up. If not, we'll have to change that. Database. Do not use the development server. Change these to 5,000. We should start getting What? Oh. It's not in the working directory, so we have to serve it out of this. Despite the name of the function, we should make that work better later. Right, we need os.path. Okay, it kind of works. Not really. How do I serve static files? Oh boy. I guess we need this copy and paste chunk of code. Why not use Nginx? Because... oh. Yeah. Send from directory. Do not use this with a user-supplied path. Well... oh. Let's see. So... I think this is what we want. The question is whether we can add other routes after we do this. So we basically just want all paths to send from directory here. Where do we import this from? Oh, we don't. Perfect. View function mapping is overriding. Oh, that sucks. Flask fallback route. Looks like I have Googled that before. Catch all. And two route filters. One for... I mean, this is essentially what I have right now. So clearly that's not right. Maybe I'll just... I'll just do a terrible thing. I'll just register routes for everything inside this directory. Everything that's in here will get served. Trying to remember what the thing this returns is. So it looks like it's folder names, file names, and directory. Path for root, things we don't care about, file names, in block. Been debugging this Django template problem all day and I still haven't gotten to work. I'm going crazy. Oh no. What's your problem, Jay? What does it look like? It's not rendering the template. Do you have a bit of code that I could look at? Template does not exist. That sounds that sounds frustrating. How do you have your template root configured? Or do you have other templates that are working? No, it's a simple app. Just started working on it today. Okay. I haven't worked with Django in a long time. Let's see if I have the old code from the last Django app that I worked on, which is a really, really long time ago. If my user page loads. This repo, Greater Django. Well, it's clearly not that file. Template tags. Oh, this is a hack, because Django templates don't let you do assignment. So I was like, well, screw that, I'll hack it in myself. AGlib. Nope, it's not that. That's a meta class? Oh, I hope I didn't write a meta class. Oh, I did. No. I guess it's not that complicated. Sort those suckers. Totally PC code that I wrote. Oh, this is newer than the Pokemon project. Well, there's bound to be fun stuff in there. How did this work? Submit. No. Templates. I guess I don't have my Django. Oh wait. How did this work? Greater Django. The settings.py, I believe, is where the problem is. Yeah, that's usually the problem with Django. This is so like I didn't know what I was doing back then of me. I wanted, like, I had templates and I wanted to render them, and so the way that I rendered them was by making a Django settings and jamming in a template dir and then compiling the template. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Haven't seen you in a while. How was the typing thing today? It was, yeah. How was the typing meetup? Oh, it's Python 2. It's a really old code. Ugh. Oh, you couldn't make it. Bummer. Yeah, I saw a flutter of emails in the what is it called? The mailing list. I'm just gonna delete this and make a new app. Yeah. Reinstall Windows, start over. sounds about right. Yeah, typing sake. That's what it is. So what I'm doing right now is I found an old project that do I have it open yet? No. I was building a Pokemon game back in 2012, and I thought, let's make it work again, because why not? And I've found that the web app was written in C#, and I don't really want to install Visual Studio, and I don't really want to figure out the C# compiler on Linux right now on stream, because I feel like that'll be super boring. And the web service is not very long, so I'm just gonna re-implement it because it's not that complicated. So why not? So hopefully that'll make static file serve. Oh, I guess, let's see. If this will make it so it'll serve index pages. It's just like, this is such a terrible hack. Stir to none. Purely side effects, my favorites. It starts at least. Maybe you can't dynamically do routes. Oh, I guess I should have gotten rid of this first directory path. All the best functions are purely side effects. Ooh. And I worked in a bajillion line code base with purely side effects for way too long. How do I want like path.split, but in the opposite direction. Path split Python. Split the path into a pair head and tail. Doesn't help me. I guess I'll just do split by os.sep. Like that, I guess. Values to unpack. Path.partition. That'll work. Partition is one of those cool things that I wish I knew earlier in Python. So the cool thing about partition, so what was happening here, Python 3. What's happening here is I had like this dot split slash, and so I was only getting one element back. But what partition does, it'll always, if I can spell correctly, it'll always give you back a 3-tuple, and if it contains the thing, the middle part will always be the separator, or it'll be an empty string, and then the left part will always either be the exact string in this case, or the left part, and then the right part will be the right part. So it's basically like split one, but you can safely avoid exactly the error that I ran into here. It's just one of those little things that's kind of a nice little trick. Okay, so this should be loading now. Is a directory? Oh. fix that. At some point, I'd be curious what your opinion is on PEP 570. PEP 570. Oh, I started reading this. So my initial gut is that it'll confuse the hell out of newcomers, and I couldn't think of any place where I would want this. It was my initial like gut feeling. Because like, what is it? Python 3 PyDoc math. Oh, did they fix it? Maybe you have to PyDoc specific functions? Or was it in 3.8? Oh yeah, in 3.8 they changed how these signatures go, and I actually had to like try and Google for what this notation means, and I couldn't actually find the notation anywhere. So like I was very confused for the longest time, and then I just like stopped looking into it. And then I feel like someone else showed me, oh look, positional arguments, and I was like, oh, that's what that slash means. I think SEO would have to get a lot better around it, yeah. Then again, like, I think like named only arguments are really powerful, and maybe there's cases that I'm not thinking of for position only. Let's see, let me read the rationale. Python has always supported positional only arguments. Early Python lacked the concept of specifying parameters by name. Interesting. Oh, you couldn't like splat stuff into, I see, you couldn't like splat arguments by name into a function auto order. That makes sense. Keywords were big deal, Python 1.0. Ooh. I actually went through the get source, and the early C API was really weird. I mean, the latest C API isn't the most consistent either. Like there's parts of it that it's generally uniform, but there's a lot of like places where borrowed and not borrowed references are kind of, I don't know. There's some doc reading that you have to do whenever you play with the C API, which I don't particularly like. I would like if it was a little bit more straightforward. Also, some of the like tracing whether you should use the macro version or the non-macro version, and like whether it returns an error or -1 or I'm griping. It's not actually that bad, but it's C, so it has to be hard, right? By using positional-only arguments, the developer can later change the name of an argument or transform them to star args without breaking the API. That's like that's their strongest argument. That's pretty weak. It's not really pleasant either, lol. Yeah. Oh, you just got the subscriber icon. Does that mean you resubbed? Thank you, Ethan. Or the subscriber icon was just latent. Oh, you resubbed. Cool. Thanks. It hasn't shown up on my dashboard yet, so maybe everything is just slow. But that's Twitch for you. Yeah, my recent events doesn't show it, and my dashboard doesn't show it, but chat does, so clearly chat knows what's up. Oh, Ethan, I don't know if you saw, but I worked on a chat bot. Oh, is it running? Do I have it running? I do have it running. Here's the emoji you just sent. But it has a few commands. Not too many, but I wanted to learn some async IO, so I started playing with writing a IRC bot. That's basically it. There's also you can type ping, and I can spell hello properly. Let's see. It doesn't quite work like create. It literally just looks for capitalized PING in the beginning. Yeah, it's not very feature complete. Twitch chatbot. It's also one file that's 200 lines long. Some nice hard-coded stuff. And it's completely unnecessary to async IO this because IRC is not at all like a high throughput problem or like large IO. It's like reading a bunch of small text strings and spewing over a plain text protocol. But this is the basic like event loop, API loop that I wrote. It's not bad, but kind of silly. But it was mostly so I could have an excuse to learn some async IO. Right, but we're reading this PEP. So it is, there's a slight plus that it's in line with the CAPI argument clinic stuff. How would you even declare it? Additional only parameter semantics today. I think the best argument is that dict update would be hard to deal with. Yeah, but like the dict update API is already pretty weird, in my opinion. Okay, I think it should almost be like 2 or 3 different APIs. A really bad example of a Python function. For argument marker. Are these rejected ideas? Okay. Rejected ideas. Do nothing. I mean that's putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but I feel like it was a mistake to add keyword args support to update a dictionary. Yeah. I don't know, it can sometimes be useful. But I guess no. Like, you could have just passed a dictionary in instead of keyword args, but I don't know. My initial thought is like, there's bigger fish to fry in Python. Like, why are we worrying about this? I think I felt the same way about the assignment operator too, though. Like, it'd be really nice to start hacking away at the GIL and like getting actual multiprocessor or like multi-threading to work nicer, but I don't know. Right, I was fixing this. Did we get this working? Right, we need to actually run the app. Not found. Should be an empty string. Oh no, index.htm. Ah, shoot. You can do these in the other order. This should be view path, and this should be view path equals path. Hey, it loads something now. This loads less than it loaded last time. What's going on? That also doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? I should have added map builder. Oh, you know what? It's the trailing slash. Only got a 500 from this. Oh, because we're reading as text. Yeah, so. It would take a lot of magic and a hefty dose of luck to get rid of the GIL. Well, there's already, like, this project by, that's probably not a good thing to search. Oh, what is it called? Oh, I typed get, like an idiot. There we go. There's Gelectomy by Larry Hastings, who started working on factoring out the GIL. But I don't think this has seen updates in a while. Like, I don't remember the status of it. And like I think the biggest thing that would hold back Python from doing this is the C API, because it's pretty baked in to the like ref counting stuff. But like PyPy kind of gets away with it. But I don't know. It would take a ton of work, and like basically it would have to be a core focus to make it happen. I don't think that's really gonna happen. And Gelectomy is only being worked on during Larry's free time, and he still has a lot to figure out. Yeah, I mean, that was the impression that I got as well. And like, I know how much free time I have, so it doesn't surprise me that others have similar free time. What is this free time you speak of? Oh. Clearly I have some of it because I'm streaming right now, but this makes absolutely no sense. I just made a new app and everything is working. You got me, man. That seems to be how everything goes for me. This makes no sense. Turn it off, turn it back on again. Oh, it's working again. Perfect. Flask, response, mime type. Make clean to the rescue. Oh. Cries softly. Mime type. How does the mime types library work? Guess type? I think that's how the mime types API works. Make clean to the rescue, cries softly. Yeah, mime types, not mime times. Okay, hopefully that should get it loading. Okay, so it's no longer 500. What's 404ing? CSS is 404ing. Okay, we have our black square back, so that's good. Why is the CSS 404ing? I hope hope I actually have all the source. Otherwise, it's gonna suck. How do I make this go back? Not having. Oh no. No, why? No, don't. There's no escape. Oh, there we go. Rendering templates is working back again. Spent the entire day debugging this when I could have just made a new app. Oh no. That's so unfortunate. Okay, so we expect the sprite to be 404ing. We don't care about the favicon. This page is all basically working except for the sprite. And the JavaScript is, unless it was, oh, it's WASD, not the arrow key. So this is, it's kind of working, despite not actually writing any code. But I'm curious why Map Builder is 404ing. Oh, did this have its own separate project? I don't even remember how this was supposed to work. Map builder. Oh, and this needs a trailing slash, and then the CSS would resolve from here. But the trailing slash is not work. Wait, map capital B. Okay, so it's the trailing slash isn't working. So we can hack around that too. Another function where we have stir and returns none, purely side effects. Yay! It's just like a terrible hack to also make it listen on URLs that end in a slash. Environment production, that's probably not what we want. I want debug. And then I can just work in this tab and hopefully it'll restart itself over there. Okay, so that looks better. List tile sprites is not implemented, so we gotta start actually implementing the API now. This doesn't exist anymore. The API. Maps slash list tile sprites. Oof, you don't look at GitHub for 4 days and mouth open emoji. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I didn't look at GitHub for 4 days. Gotta get those green squares, you know? Green square life. Also, break GitHub. Happy birthday to the World Wide Web. Well, happy birthday, web. There's a couple of gophers there, but for the most part, there's a green square every day. Unless I'm like sick or dead or sad. Which is probably this day, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so list tile sprites. Let's look at how this code used to work. What's the file called? Service map service. List tile sprites. Sprites folder. Sprites files. It looks like it just finds all of the files in the sprites directory and returns that as JSON. Flask JSON response. JSONify, what a great name. I don't know what that returns, but it's fine. Sorted. Data, map, sprites. Oh, there we go. Sorted, lister, map / sprites. Oh, slightly too long. So that works. Dang it. The one thing that sucks about the reloader is if you ever make a syntax error, it dies. Okay. So we got the sprites loading. I think this is the build sprite sheet button, which is what we need next. Build, yeah. Give me the full URL. Map/build. And this should be a post route. Post, not pissed, post. And what does it look like? Headers. Wait, it's a get? Should not be a get. Why is that a get? Should be a post endpoint. Okay, well, past me, what were you doing? We don't need this anymore. Okay, so it looks like I just built a bitmap and then for a new web fault exception. Image should have the expected number. Looks like I was depending on file system ordering here, which is solid. Oh no, I ordered. Okay. Okay. I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit, I guess. Right, file stream. Response type JSON. Return type void. I don't know what that means, but since we're gonna need this twice, that's not what I wanted. It's been a while since I've worked with PIL. Hello, create PNG. The font creates a transparent GIF with a red circle drawn in the middle. This is R. Draw an ellipse with this fill. This is you're setting the background to red. Yeah, that's what I thought. Setting it to 0000 will generate a transparent PNG. That's what I want. Even though all of my images are actually, I think all of the images have backgrounds, but don't remember. Is it width and then height? I'm just gonna assume it's width and height. I don't know why I have os.path join here. That does nothing. Because I'll notice it here. Only list PNGs. I guess I could use glob. I rarely use glob though. Glob.glob map/sprite/star.png. Oh, but we don't want that. We want just this path. So this is fine. Try and copy this verbatim over here. For I equals 0, grab the sprite, grab the number, that's what I thought. Expected I got sprite. Okay, so that handles this error handling here. Now we need to write a PNG into the output. Load PNG ping PNG PIL. Image.open. Yes, YouTube. I'm still music. Which means it's been an hour-ish? Although hour and 13 is what my stream says. Yeah. So, YouTube, what are you doing? Usually it cuts off at normal intervals, but guess not today. So I use the number in the sprite names to kind of order them, if I remember right. Let's see, map sprites. Yeah, so I just like numbered them like this. Oh, warp tiles. I think that was the last thing that I got working, which we'll hopefully be able to show. Indentation error. Solid. Fixed. It's fine, we expect that. Push this button, that definitely should be a get or a post. Oh, PIL is not defined. Module is not callable. Okay, probably pil.image.image, which sounds silly. Which at this point, I should just from pil.image import image. It takes one positional argument, but 3 were given. Image.open. Oh, I want image.new, I bet. It's a weird API, but I will take it. Built. Type object has no attribute new. Well, now I'm just confused. Maybe I'll go, I think, maybe I was right in the first place. Let's expect it. Gotta actually open the image from the right place. I really want to get this to work. Oh. Sprite image. Sprite image dot size. Nice. I guess we can change this into an assert also. So now I need to splat this image onto this output image. Python pillow copy image into image. Background dot paste image at offset. Image dot, was it paste? Is that what it was? Paste. Sprite image and offset should be 16 times I and 0. And then we need to save the image at the end. Okay, pillow image save. So surprise, surprise, most programming is Googling and then copying and pasting from the internet. Image dot save and then file type, I guess. So we would want PNG there, I guess. And where is it supposed to get saved? Sprite file path. Get sprite file path. Path.combine physical path map folder. Map folder and sprite. Why are these all constants? Current dir. I don't think so. I think it's supposed to end up in map folder. Map/maps. Apparently it's supposed to end up in the maps. Pokemon/map/maps sprite.png and then png. So that should hopefully make the game somewhat playable. We'll see. Build. The use function did not return a valid response. I think that's fine though. Map load? It did. But the sprite did not. Where is it supposed to load from? Oh, map/sprite. Sorry about this question. Don't apologize for questions. Questions are great. I love questions. But why are you programming in a virtual machine? There's a couple reasons for this. I should really put up a. I should really make an FAQ for this. I should really make an FAQ. I haven't done that yet. So it's kind of a couple of factors. Like the first factor is I grew up using Windows, so surprise, I'm using Windows. And growing up using Windows, I played some video games, and I still play some video games from time to time, although less and less recently. Like I've been mostly spending my time in the virtual machine. But it's nice to be able to context switch pretty quickly between a programming environment, which I prefer to program on Linux because it, in my opinion, has better tools and like is easier to do most of the stuff that I work on. And usually it's faster for the stuff that I work on as well. But having a VM makes it really easy to context switch between not Windows and Linux, or Windows and Linux, I guess. And the last reason that I use a virtual machine is I have a tendency to destroy computers for whatever reason. I like to mess with stuff, and sometimes I mess with stuff and just like completely break everything. And with a virtual machine, it's a little lower risk. Like I can break the machine and just start over, and it's not too big a deal. But with a like dual booting, which I do on some of my other computers, like my work computer, I dual boot, so I run Mac OS because it's a Mac, and then I run Linux on the other partition, and it works great there. But I also don't play video games there, and I also don't muck around with system packages and kernels and stuff, and so I don't tend to break that partition as often. But definitely a good question. I get asked it a lot. I should record a YouTube video and stick it up there. And I really need to improve my channel description. I haven't given it any love in quite a while, which is unfortunate. But what is the no content response? No content. I'm thinking about putting Windows in a VM and booting Linux myself. Interesting. I mean, I do that a lot at work. It's like, sometimes I have to debug Windows problems at work. And so I spin up my Windows VM. The problem that I find is, well, I use VirtualBox, so maybe it's better without VirtualBox, but VirtualBox, running Windows in VirtualBox is really slow. Partially because I don't think VirtualBox has support for giving like GPU pass-through or whatever, and so it has to like virtualize the GPU using the processor or the CPU, and that just tends to be really slow. Or at least in my experience. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, I need to get a second GPU to pass through. Yeah. That's what's stopping me from doing it, at least. Although, like, I do pretty frequently. Sprites built. Probably want to refresh. Okay. Okay, fast me. Oh, why is this still not working? Oh, did I... Sprite.png. Did I do this wrong? Pokemon map sprite. Where's this loading from? Map/sprite. That's right. Oh, shoot. Right. If I close this and restart it, it'll work then. No? Still not? It was not with height. It was height width. I screwed this up. Oh no, it is with height. I'm just not so smart. So build this again. Oh my goodness, it renders, and now I can walk around. Okay, so this is. This was my really crappy and really... Where's the run button? Is there a way to run? Is it shift? E? Oh, it's Q. Why would it be Q? That's such a bad key for run. It's also super awkward to... I guess you pinky press it? I don't know. But there's a... It's hard to tell, but you can adjust the speed. I didn't implement animations because I didn't actually... Like, I probably spent like 3 weekends working on this, and this is as far as I got. Oh, can we talk to the tree? I wonder if we can talk to the tree. I walk around. Annoying. I did get collision detection working, so like you don't bounce into walls and stuff. Oh, this is... Oh, what is interact? E? Oh, it works! I mean, the it doesn't actually cut down the tree, but you can talk to a tree and it will, this is so cool. I'm so happy this still works. But yeah, you can talk to the tree and it gives you this text dialogue. Does it... Tree cut! So in theory, you would cut the tree. But... it didn't actually work. Because I didn't implement that part. I was just like, oh yeah, console.log, tree cut, that'll count. And I think I implemented collision detection with the void, so you can't just like walk off the edge. But the thing that I was working on at the time was to make these little warp tiles work. Most of these sprites are just stolen from the Pokemon game, from Pokemon Fire Red. I should... If I release this crappy half-assed thing, I'll probably do some of my own art so that I'm not copyright infringing. But the thing that I worked on last was these warp tiles, and the way they were supposed to work is like you walk to the edge of you would like walk to a load line and it would load the next map below you, and like seamlessly do that in between. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, I distracted myself. I was like, oh, I wonder what happens if you press right twice while you're in the middle, and it... Apparently I thought of that, so not a big deal. But the idea was to use the warps to implement load lines, and then you could stitch maps together and navigate through a world without needing to like worry about that. And I want to say I implemented some like preloading stuff so that it doesn't like snap in, although I mean it kind of worked. Well, these aren't warping tiles. But this was like my test, the test map that you would warp to. I think you can interact with these. Yeah, you can interact with these trees too. But you'd basically hook up the tiles so that when you walk on them, you warp back and forth. And, that was as far as I got in my game. But it kind of works. I wonder if I like. This was just like the bare minimum to get the map working. I think a little more work would be needed to make the editor work. Because clearly this doesn't work. Oh, this is so ugly. Looks like list maps is the next API we'd implement. Map/list maps. List maps. How did that work? Looks like I just found all JSON files inside the maps folder. /maps. Return sorted us.lister. Maps. Yeah, so it kind of speaks to how verbose some of the C# I wrote was versus the Python. So this build sprite sheet method is from line 57 to 68, so 11 lines of code. And in C# it was, we'll include the decorators since they kind of count. It was from 63 to 121, so like 60 lines of code. Now granted, like bracing counts for some of it, like so it's not entirely equivalent, but it feels like a lot less code. But I also lose a lot of the guarantees of a static type checker and like these cute little lambdas. I guess I get lambdas in Python, but I don't know. I don't have strongly typed lambdas, so. Oh well. Sprite width, yeah, okay. Okay, so that should implement list maps. That restarted. Did it though? Oh, 404. Oh, too many slashes here. This should be this API. Oh, so now we can open a map. That's cool. And then I think the idea with this is that you could like grab a tile. Oh, and I have different tools. Fancy. So if I wanted to like fill with grass, I could pick the, what is the star tool? Oh, the star tool is to add warp points, I think. This is a really ugly sprite because I definitely drew that one myself. But the fill tool is kind of cool. Seems to work, I guess. Which grass is which? Oh, this is the like thicker plain grass, and this is the like thinner plain grass, I guess. They're all different colors, it's kind of annoying. I think this is the grass we had before. But anyway, the fill tool is kind of neat. Pencil tool, like pencil tool. But I basically wrote a map editor, which was kind of neat. Let's reopen. Blow away the changes. Kind of like how I use my text editor. I made a mistake. I'm just going to close it, not save, and then reopen. What is a blank tile? Oh! So you could put holes in the world if you really wanted. I don't remember how I picked whether they were solid or not. It's like there was clear collision detection when I ran into the shrub. I wonder where I encoded that information. Pokemon... Oh, I don't even know. It's probably a JSON file, if I did it all. Sprite properties, that sounds relevant. It's all in one line. Perfect. Where did I generate this from? Use water. What? What is going on? Oh, I bet this button is relevant. Oh, this is ugly, but I guess this is where those sprite properties come from. So like I could change different properties of them. So like I could say this is solid and this is solid. I never actually implemented this, but I was clearly thinking ahead of like how I could change the cut tile after it would changed. Now, probably if I were to re-implement this, I would change the tree to probably be an entity and not actually a separate tile, because you would probably have trees that weren't just on grass but also on other stuff. I don't know. But I was clearly thinking that you could cut grass, which is one of the features that I'm actually really sad they took out of the most recent Pokemon games. So you can no longer cut grass. You have to walk through it, which is unfortunate. Thank you Anderson Pronte for following. Every follow counts. This is if this is the content you're signing up for, I'm unfortunately this is not what I usually work on. This is just like, I want to hack on this today. So I usually don't work on stuff like this, but if you find this interesting, then by all means. To be honest, most of my streams are just like sitting around answering questions, so it's chill. But I suspect like editing this doesn't actually work. Like if we suddenly made grass solid and clicked save, like I don't think that works. Well, at least that one's a post. Map/save tile properties. Implement that. Save tile properties. What did we actually send as the request here? Request headers. Where's the data? Copy as curl, sure. Data's in here somewhere. Cookies. Here we go. So it looks like it's basically just the full contents of that JSON blob that we saw. I like how I have is area cuttable and cut tile, although I could have just had cut tile. Which sounds really weird when said out loud. Something about it makes me uncomfortable saying that word. Also, it kind of looks like my last name. But not quite. So it looks like we just get the... I actually don't remember how Flask works. Point. Turn this. What? Oh, I need post rights. This is like my least favorite part about Flask, is that Flask.request is this magic global that you can just like import wherever you want, which I don't really like. Flask.request. There's supposed to be a get JSON. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Get JSON. Yeah, so there was one point in time where the request.json attribute was deprecated, and they were like, oh, use get.json, and then everyone's like, rah, they're the same thing. Just let me use JSON. So I think it's back to letting JSON be a thing. Let's see. What does this end up saving? Map sprites. Oh, map sprite properties. Yeah, so it's just saving the list in here. So this top level is merely for the giggles, I guess. This would be mod map sprite properties.json variable. We would write out the dumped form. So another thing that I'm losing as part of the this rewrite to Python is the APIs were actually type safe in my C# version, but they won't be in this version. That's fine. Separator should be item and key separator, comma and colon. I think that's how that works. What did this, let's see, I didn't even look at the code. Save tile properties. String tile properties. Oh, is it double JSON? I hope it's not double JSON. That'd suck. Is it double JSON? Did I screw this up? No, it seems to just be a list. Oh no, we didn't actually. Where's the debugger? Oh, it's double JSON. Past me, what are you doing? Why would you do this? Oh well. I won't argue with past me. We'll just pretend that that version of me knew it was up, even though clearly not. Because why is it double JSON? I basically, the API request is JSON encoded JSON, which usually doesn't make sense. Request object is not subscriptable. Right, I forgot JSON. Save. Oh, it succeeded that time. So if I change something about the sprites, like if I suddenly make these non-solid, and then I reload this, can I now suddenly walk through, you may need a hard refresh? Nope. Okay, it didn't work. Why not? I wrote to the wrong place. Oh, I typoed. Proper rights. Copy and paste. Would be a typo. That would be what I would screw up here. So if we make this non-solid, and then we reload this. Hey, and now we can walk over stuff. Yeah, so that works. Kinda neat. Put that back, because we don't want this to be We want this to be solid. I refresh, and then they're solid again. Nice. Oh yeah. If you spam the buttons in a like turn, it's more obvious at the Wait, how did I do it? This looks normal now. Dang it! I don't know how I did it, but there was like a bit where he was sliding while looking the wrong direction. Can't reproduce it now. Anyway, I assume there's a bug, because it's not the highest in quality code. But what other parts? Oh, I guess saving the map. Making a new map is not done yet. What does this do? 99 by 99. Oh, that's a big map. And we'll make a smaller map than that. 50 by 50. Okay. Fill with grass. And we'll pick a tree and draw out some derpy map. That will make the save map thing work. I realize that's not centered. Can fix it. These are the same line. Okay, whatever. Good enough. Hi.json. Okay, so that doesn't work, which is fine. Should probably be a put and not that, but I think I was writing at a time where put was not well supported in all the browsers, and so instead used post map/save. Should probably be up here. Okay, how did the save map function work? The map name and the map. Delete the file if it already exists. There's a race condition here. Race condition. Which I actually like didn't need to do this at all, because this could have just overwritten the file directly. But I didn't know better, so sorry past me. What would this be? The maps directory. Pokemon map maps. Yeah. Pokemon map maps. And then class.request.json map name. F-string this up. Doesn't have to be good. Just be nice and hacky. Although apparently it used to work on Windows. Maybe this should work on Windows. Data contract JSON serializer. I'm gonna assume it's just JSON. JSON.dump class.request.json map to F and return it to a 4. Mapnamio. Nice. Don't have JSON. Oh, indentation error. Seems fine to me. Crash for no reason. Uh, 405. Oh. It's because this needs methods equals post. Now I should be able to save that. It looks like it went through. If we open maps, hey, I can now open the high map. Oh, right. Because I have to restart the app every time. Every time I add a new file, because I implemented the routing in a crappy way. I should make that dynamic. I should just like fix the routing, to be honest. But okay, so making a new map works, saving a map works, building the sprites works. Does the work point stuff work? Target map. Oh, this is fancy. So let's make it so we can warp from map 1 into the high map. So we'll add a warp point here, which goes to high. You have to like manually figure out the targets. It's so jank. Let's do 13, 13. And put a warp tile there. Are you sure you would like to overwrite map1.json? Yes. 13, 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So right there, we'll make a warp point. I don't remember what the target was, so we're just gonna do like 4 or 2. It's gonna jump around, but whatever. Yes. And now, in theory, I should be able to warp into. Damn, off by 1 errors. So if you get stuck on a block, I think you. So I can't move up and down, but I think I can move this way, so that's fine. Oh. I made the map warp to itself. So it's clearly that's wrong. But anyway, this you kind of get the idea of what I built before. That's not what I wanted. Edit this target map 1. Save this map. Yes. Refresh. Okay, so now if I go here, I go back to the original map. So anyway, this is a small tech demo of what I built a long time ago. It's not very impressive, but the main reason that I wanted to bring it back is I've had this idea for a long time, but I've never really thought I would actually implement it. But one of my favorite, like, frustrating parts of playing Pokemon games was always the, like, either ice puzzles or strength puzzles or like moving blocks or pressing buttons or whatever. I don't know. I really like the puzzle aspect of the Pokemon games. Well, I really like Pokemon games just in general. But I have a special place for the puzzle aspects, and I kind of want to make an engine where I can build my own Pokemon puzzles and play them, or like, you know, kind of like Mario Maker sort of deal, but with Pokemon puzzles, or like a Pokemon-like world where you interact with stuff in the same way that you would in that. And so my idea was, hey, I already built, like, I mean, it's not a very good one, but I built a crappy sprite engine, and so the thought was that I could use this to kind of build a Mario Maker kind of deal, but with with this sprite engine. And then I maybe make like a mobile game or whatever, and then like some way to distribute them. Oh, there, I screwed it up again. I don't know how it's broken, but it's definitely. Oh, now it's back to normal. I don't know how to trigger it. Anyway, there's a bug. Surprise. That's what you get for like 4 weekends of programming this, but yeah, the eventual hope is that like maybe I'll work on this some more and like make it into an actual game that isn't lame. Like is something fun to actually play. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to accomplish this stream, so I'm glad I got something working. I was way more excited than I probably should have been when I got this all to load and work, but that's all I got for today. Let's see if anyone else is streaming tech, and if so, I'll send you guys on to the next person. Let's see. Oh, one of my favorite streamers is streaming. He's working on a real game. He actually knows how to stream or how to build games and stuff and do graphics and like 3D cool Unity stuff, and I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I'll wrap up here and then we'll go raid user 335. But yeah, my name is Anthony, and if you missed any part of the stream and you want to catch the rest of it, it'll be up on my YouTube channel by tomorrow. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode, so the same as my Twitch handle. And if you want to get notified about further streams, you can follow here or subscribe over on YouTube, and/or follow me on Twitter, which my Twitter handle is twitter.com/CodeWithAnthony. No good at brand synergy, but what are you gonna do? But that's all I've got for today. Thank you all for stopping by, and say hi to user335 for me. And that's all I got. Bye.